Hello Unreal Engine users, today I will cover the settings of landscaping. This is a very important tutorial, so please stay tuned. The settings are found in project settings. Scroll down to plugins and there is landscaping. And here we have various settings. They are grouped: internal, DTM, which is terrain, digital terrain models, and vector data. We also have one settings. We go from top to bottom and I explain what everything does. Cache directory points to the directory where the intermediate temporary files are cached. It defaults to C temp landscaping. And one important thing for Mapbox users, there will be a subdirectory created where the Mapbox data is cached. You can safely delete all files in landscaping except the Mapbox directory unless you want to download the Mapbox data again. Please make sure to use forward slashes here, and you can delete all the files in the landscaping directory after import. The projection mode is something very important. Default is use CRS of import file or 3857 on Mapbox. This is pseudo Mercator. It's the default from Mapbox. So if you import something from Mapbox, a terrain from Mapbox, it will set the CRS to this, or it will read the metadata from the files. So the coordinate reference system of the file, a geotiff or whatever, will be read out from the file and the level will set to this coordinate reference system. This coordinate reference system is very important because everything which is imported afterwards will be converted to the first detected CRS. There are two more options. Automatically reproject to appropriate UTM CRS. Use this if you have data which doesn't use meter. Like when you import data from Earth Explorer, from the NASA Earth Explorer, we can select, like here, a file. It's from Utah somewhere, and the unit is arc seconds. You'll also see it here in the file name, but it's also in the on the website of the Earth Explorer. It uses arc seconds, but we use meter here. The unit in landscaping is always meter, the reference unit. And so in the project settings, you have to automatically reproject to appropriate UTM CRS, which is always in meter. It is the universal traverse Mercator, and landscaping will auto detect which is appropriate for this area and then reproject the data to this. So if you get weird artifacts when you import the data, please check the projection mode and set it to automatically reproject to appropriate UTM. Otherwise, if your geotiff or whatever is already in meter, you can safely use the default use CRS of import. The third option is use custom CRS specified below. This is the EPSG code of the target CRS. So here we have EPSG code 27700. It's for Great Britain. If you want to look up what EPSG code is appropriate for you, you have to go to EPSG.io. Here we have like the World Geodetic System 1984. It's also the projection Earth Explorer uses, and it's in degree. So if you see something like arc seconds, this is always degree, and degree is not appropriate. In this case, we would use automatically reproject to appropriate UTM CRS, or you can use custom CRS specified below and look up the according UTM CRS or other CRS which you want to use. This is extremely important if you use ASCII files. If you want to import ASCII files and you don't have a PRJ file where the metadata is stored, because the ASCII file itself only stores some metadata, but not all we need. So in this case, if you import ASCII files, you have to look up the appropriate EPSG code here. You can search here, like if we have like Great Britain, you can look here and you see, okay, there's a British national grid and accuracy 1 meter. If you have like this one, you would use this EPSG code. So always check this setting when you getting weird data or if the import is not as you expected it. Enable large worlds is mostly for generating huge worlds, then it will automatically unload and load the landscapes in the level. It's mostly for saving memory. It's not necessary to enable it, but maybe it's useful if you have a little RAM and want to have big worlds. Here are DTM specific settings. The first one is allowed DTM file types. The default is GeoTIFF, HGT files and ASCII files. You can try out use other files here as well. If you have like another height-map format you would want to try to import, it might work, but these are the only ones who are tested and will work. So world partition marks landscape size. This is a very important setting because most of questions are regarding this setting, and I think sometimes people don't know where to find it. If you import like huge area, say 30 times 30 kilometers, you have to crank up this value. Default is 8192 meters. The unit here is meter. So if you have a 30 times 30 kilometer landscape, you have to make this times 4 so that it fits inside a single landscape. Otherwise you will get multiple landscapes. Depending on what you want, you might want multiple landscape in one level, or you might just want to have one landscape which is separated then in worlds landscape streaming proxies on the world partition. And here we have a value of 32,786, which means 30 times 30 kilometer landscape would fit into it, and you get a single landscape. This is not only regarding world partition, it's also regarding a single landscape without world partition. Didn't change the setting because the setting name, it was originally like that, but it will also apply to a single landscape, also to static meshes. It's the max landscape size you get for a single landscape or static mesh. Resample to first tile, it's normally what you want. It will enable a seamless world, so if you have multiple landscapes in one level, this makes sure they are seamless. The next setting also refers to seamless landscapes. Smooth edges means that if you import Mapbox data and you smooth it, because then it will look more beautiful, the edges will also be smoothed. If you have multiple landscape in one level and you smooth the edges, there will be gaps. So if you have a large terrain with multiple landscape in one level, disable this and you have seamless worlds. When applying a landscape material, you will see that the edges will look fine. It only looks a little bit edgy when the landscape is bare without any landscape material or whatsoever on it. Connect line string, the last setting, is a setting you will barely use. It's for connecting vector data from shapefiles or from Mapbox by name. This is useful when you have just a single road or a single river which is split up into multiple parts and you can connect it. Normally a river has arms or a street has crossings, and therefore you will leave it as it is, disable it and connect it then. So, thank you for tuning in. I hope I covered everything on the topic of settings and what to look for. And if you have any questions, ask them below or on Discord. And I see you in the next video.